Oh, wait a minute, that's me. Welcome to Kimchi Rednecks.
Are you trying that again?
Nah,
you always do our intros. Wait, I want a fun intro. You're not going to give us a fun, like, Mediterranean intro for this one?
Sorry, I got nothing.
Dang.
But I do have a knife. This is Choppy McVeggie Face.
Okay.
Choppy the veggies.
So, we mentioned Mediterranean because today we are cooking...
Falafel.
Yes, which is not a Greek food.
Ah,
Yeah, so, you know, we have our friends over at Little Greece who we love, we've gotten our nice pita from. And
provided our authentic pita.
We have authentic pita and authentic tzatziki sauce. And those both came from Little Greece. Chef George made those. So you can now order them if you're here in Korea. You will be able to order. So check out Little Greece's Facebook page. It'll tell you how to do it.
We also found out that tzatziki sauce doesn't normally go on falafel.
I think we eat tzatziki on falafel.
Well, we eat tzatziki on just about anything. But...
usually you use like
more authentically, you're supposed to use a tahini sauce.
A tahini sauce and hummus. We don't have hummus.
So we've got to figure that out on the fly.
But we're going to make tahini sauce because we have a recipe for it. And we're going to make falafel because we have a recipe for it. Today we are using recipes from Rafika's Kitchen. So thank you, Rafika, for these awesome recipes that we're going to try out.
She makes good food. Everything we've tried so far has been good.
We are super excited to try that out. So.
And it looks good too.
Let's get started. So Chuck is going to chop up the onion.
Chopping the onion.
So
how am I chopping this? Strips, cubes, dice, powder?
Dice it. So this is...
good, because if you said powder, we were in trouble.
One small onion-ish. One small onion?
Yep.
Yeah, one small onion. So we have 250 grams, or about 2 cups of chickpeas. They were dry yesterday. We soaked them overnight with a teaspoon of baking powder. And after soaking them overnight, they have puffed up. So from what I understand, making falafel starting with dried chickpeas versus the already wet canned ones, the dry chickpeas, if you rehydrate them yourself, will actually make a fluffier tasting falafel. Isn't that what she said?
I think that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know the difference, but she's from the Mediterranean and I'm not. So I'm going to trust that she knows what she's talking about. So we're going with dried chickpeas that we have soaked in a teaspoon of baking powder and water.
She's out of Turkey, right?
I believe so.
I believe she's out of Turkey.
So
which we have a lot of Turkish restaurants around here, so
we have started. We've got our food processor going. We've already got a little bit of the chickpea in there because it's going to take a couple steps. So the very first thing we're going to do is he's going to chop up that onion, and I'm going to pulse down our chickpeas real quick. We'll be back.
Time lapse.
So we've determined that I have a smaller food processor than Rafika had. So we're going to do this in 2 stages. We're going to half the recipe basically at this point so that we can mix everything kind of equally and then mix it all together when we get it all done. So we have the small onion, so Chuck's going to put half in this bowl and then the other half is going in the food processor. I'm going to go ahead and pulse to get those a little more mixed in. Okay, so now at this point we are going to add in the onion and then garlic, which we'll need 6 teaspoons of garlic. So that kind of makes it pretty even there.
So I was told once that Turkey is considered a sister country of Korea. Apparently they have like some shared learning thing or something. I'm not 100% on the details. But considering their apparent love of garlic between both of them makes perfect sense.
All right, that's 4, 5. I left you a drink out.
Oh, is that for me?
It was.
Oh, I thought that was for you.
No, I left one for you. We are using dried coriander because that's what we have. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon of coriander. So half a teaspoon in each.
Mess with this Korean plum. It's good stuff. What am I chopping next?
Well, we have to have 10 sprigs of parsley. You know, chop May. Being loud over there, May. Every time I'm doing something in the kitchen, Mayhem wants to play.
So we don't generally use fresh parsley. Sookie. Hush. So we don't generally use fresh parsley. So I think maybe a sprig of parsley is considered from the first branch up, because I don't think you're supposed to use the stem. So that's what I'm going with. 3, 4.
Here, you want me to Google it?
5.
Google it. What is a sprig of parsley? Or how much is a sprig?
6. Don't poke holes in my beliefs with stupid things like facts.
How much a sprig of parsley? When a recipe requires a sprig of herbs, it's referring to a specific amount of herbs. Generally, a sprig is defined as 2 to 4 inch pieces of the herb plant.
2 to 4 inches. So that would be about right. That would be about the...
You'd be all right.
Sometimes I'm actually accidentally right.
We're going with that. We're going to poke holes in everything. All right, so half in here and half in here.
So am I chopping or am I just...
No, it's getting chopped in here.
Okay. It would kind of not make a whole lot of sense to chop something that's going in a blender. Yeah, Chuck can brain.
All right, we'll brain it over here. So we've got half a teaspoon, or basically a whole teaspoon of pepper going in. So I'm halving that here.
Get that down to the bleeds, because that's...
Oh, it's going to mix. And then we also got a teaspoon of salt going in. Okay. Chuck, I need 6 sprigs of dill.
Dill?
Dill. We're doing 3 pinches of cinnamon, so I'll try and do 1.5 pinch in each one. That's going to be fun. Does it smell dilly?
Scrumdiddlyumptious.
I'm going to need to buy more cinnamon soon. 1.
How much did it say?
6. Okay.
3, 4, 5.
All right, and then
the whole thing.
We've got 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika.
It's the whole thing.
All right.
It's going to go half and half, I guess.
Yep,
so.
half and half. Ah. You having problems over here?
Stuff running away from me. We've got the windows open, so there's a little breeze going through here, so occasionally stuff migrates.
A leveled tablespoon of baking powder. So I need about half. That'll make my life easier, won't it?
That might make it easier, yeah.
All right, so the cloves. We were supposed to have whole cloves. We don't have whole cloves. We have ground cloves. So we're going to do an 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves.
And for those of y'all that remember having to do fractions in school, that means a 1/16 in each.
What, we're fractioning? All right, here we go.
A few moments later.
I'm going to mix in 2 tablespoons, now that we've got this all pulsed down, of sesame seeds. Then we are going to let it sit in the fridge for an hour to firm up before we make our falafel balls or patties or however you want to call them.
So what's next? I wasn't listening.
This is the married woman's life. They never listen. Honestly, I'm not sure they listen when we're dating. Next, we're going to put that in the fridge, and then you and I are going to make tahini sauce.
Oh, yay.
Yay, because we didn't even know what tahini was until yesterday.
No, I had to look it up. Intermission. Dun, 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 yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Woo!
So, while we are waiting for our falafel batter to firm up a little bit more, we're going to make our tahini sauce. The tahini sauce we are making is from the Mediterranean dish. That is where I got the recipe. I will link that in our description. So we have tahini, which is what, Chuck?
Ground sesame, apparently.
Well, there you go. Chuck was yesterday old when he found that out. So her recipe calls for 1 to 2 cloves of garlic, and you're supposed to mince them in your mortar and pestle, but ours is already minced, so we're going to go with it. There we go. So Stick those in the food processor. We need 3/4 cups of tahini paste. Can you see the paste?
It's very pasty.
I need a spoon. Sorry.
Does that look like about a cup of...
Yeah, sure. Works for me. So we're gonna do a cup of parsley. This already looks relatively saucy. I usually think of paste as something a little more solid.
A little more Elmer's-like.
Yeah. But to be fair, I have never actually used tahini paste before, so this is a first for us. It smells very nutty. Yeah. So I've used, like in other recipes where tahini's called for and you don't have tahini, I've been told you could use a little bit of peanut butter, which seems like an odd...
Seems like an odd substitution.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's a true statement or not, so if any of you know that, you let me know. I don't know that I've ever made a recipe that actually called for tahini before. All right, so there's our tahini. Chuck's doing our parsley. I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
I might actually need the other knife. This is a choppy, not a slicing.
Oh no! We need a 1/2 cup of lime juice. You can use lime or lemon juice per the recipe. And then it's going to be a 1/4 cup of cold water. Lock that into place.
Chopping parsley.
That is very liquid.
That is very liquid. That's very... Now it's almost a paste.
She said it'll be thick as it emulsifies.
No.
Maybe add just a... Because it's supposed to have some water in it.
Just a splash of it and...
I'm going to add the water slowly, guys.
We'll go from that if we need. Are we putting this in the blender with it, or?
No, I'm going to add... That gets mixed in after it's done.
That gets mixed in after, okay.
Maybe a little bit more. What do you think, a little more water?
No. That's
Saucy?
saucy, kind of loose as is, so I wouldn't add any more water.
Okay.
Not unless it just suddenly thickens up a whole lot.
So our tahini paste was very loose, so we'll start with that.
Our tahini paste came in a jar.
Yeah, so for us, I think we're going to go with this because I'm worried if we
add more water, it may not have any consistency at all.
Right. So we're going to put that in the bowl.
I'm putting that in the bowl.
Yep, put that in the bowl. And then I'm just going to mix the parsley in. And then Chuck's going to taste this.
Oh, I am?
Oh, yeah. You want to lick the batter?
I've had this before. I recognize the taste.
I recognize the taste, too. Where have I had this?
You probably had it on something we ordered at a Mediterranean restaurant before. Just didn't know it.
It's good. I like it.
I know that flavor, so we're in the ballpark at least.
What do you think we're missing?
I think we're a little strong because that is
liquidy,
and we couldn't reduce it anymore with water because it's already.
So do you think we should add a little more tahini to it?
I mean, even with just.
Do you think we should add a little more tahini to it?
No, I think that's.
You don't think it's a little strong?
I mean, it's a little on the strong side, but not. Although I can kind of see where parsley. I can kind of see where people get the peanut butter connection.
I can too. Maybe just a little bit of water. I mean, it's not super, super thin yet either, and technically it's a sauce.
Okay, well.
It was supposed to get a 1/4 cup of water, so.
Add a little more and frappe it. Honestly, still tastes about the same.
It's a little bit thinner. All right, so we are going to make what Rafika refers to as spoon salad.
Spoon
salad. And that is going to be, we don't have medium-sized tomatoes, we have small tomatoes. So we're going to do 3 small tomatoes, 2 bell peppers, a small onion, and a 1/4 of lemon or lemon juice from, basically you're going to juice your lemon, which I think equals about 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, some salt and some red pepper flakes, and we're putting a cucumber in because cucumber, and they're in season. Right, Chuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
So how do we want these cut?
It says finely chopped.
Finely chopped. All right.
If I remember correctly, this kind of looks like a Turkish version of salsa. Okay. Does that give you some reference, maybe?
All right, so we've chopped up some stuff.
We have 1 whole cucumber in here, 3 small tomatoes, and 2 small size bell peppers, which you could use 1 large bell pepper if you have it, and 5 sprigs of parsley. That's where we're starting. So it says just to add salt and red pepper flakes. So we're going to start with about a 1/4 teaspoon of both of those and mix in.
Yeah, we're probably going to need more salt than that.
All right, well, how much more salt do you want? Another 1/4 teaspoon?
Actually, take it up to a teaspoon.
A full teaspoon.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going full teaspoon, guys. All right.
And I'd probably do...
At least a half.
Start with that. Let's stir it up.
Okay. All right, so then we are going to add 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil.
Which again, thanks to the grease.
Yeah, that's olive oil that came from Crete.
For the authentic Greek olive oil.
And then we are going to add 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Mix that up. This looks good, actually.
It kind of does, yeah.
I mean, it has things I love in it, so it doesn't surprise me that I think it looks good.
It's just kind of a vegetable salad of all the stuff that you generally cook with anyway.
It's like a vegetable salsa.
Yeah.
Enough salt, enough red pepper.
Yeah, the red pepper's good. There's just enough there that you can taste it. Might need a little more salt. I'd say another half teaspoon. So up to 1.5 teaspoons of salt.
So basically you're going to salt to your taste. This is our current taste.
Good.
Okay. Now I'm going to put that in a bowl and put that in the fridge for now. And then we're about ready to get started to set up for forming our falafel. Are you ready to falafelize?
Sure.
Are you going to feel awful about falafel, or are you going to be fabulous about falafel?
Fabulous.
Because what is falafel really, Chuck?
It's basically a chickpea hushpuppy.
It really is. And as rednecks,
Hushpuppies are good.
like even rednecks can appreciate a good hush puppy, even if it's made out of chickpeas.
All right, so
It's been an hour.
we got our
Falafel mixture.
Falafel mix out of the fridge. We got our little oil thingamabob cookie thingy here.
We're using canola oil for ours. You can use rapeseed, sunflower. Let's see, what's the other one that she mentioned? Hazelnut or grapeseed. I think I said that twice. So if you have a falafel scoop, you can make a falafel.
We don't, so we're
we don't.
using this to guesstimate.
I should probably grease the spoon too, so it comes out a little easier. Yeah. So Chuck is going to make our little patties. The patties are usually, okay,
I'm just going to make a kind of briquette shape.
you're making briquettes, okay.
The important part is to make them kind of generally uniform.
According to Rafika, this recipe should make 16.
Actually, I think I didn't. Yeah. You got to squeeze them enough. They kind of start to put bean juice on you, for lack of a better phrase.
You've been juiced.
That means you've got it kind of compacted because it's starting to squeeze the juice out. That's when you want to.
We're heating our oil to 355 degrees right now.
So, If you like yours a little more crispy, make them a little smaller, it'll cook faster. If you like yours a little more doughy, beany, whatever phrase you want to use for the texture on the inside, you make them a little bigger so they can take longer to cook.
Hers doesn't look as green on the inside as hers looked. Did you notice that?
Yeah, hers had a definite
Green color to it. I wonder if she used more dill and parsley than we used, possibly.
Possibly.
She did put a whole handful in there. Now we just have to wait for the oil to get hot. And we got to reheat our pita. Right, Chuck?
Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, we're going to get into the mobile section of the program for this evening.
Which means putting our first 4 falafel into the grease.
Yay! So we decided to cook them in like batches of 4 so that we don't, overcrowd it and get the oil too cold.
So 5 or 6 minutes until crispy and brown, turning them occasionally. First flip. Yeah, yours are so small they might only take 3 minutes, Chuck.
Is that looks like the midpoint?
Looks like the midpoint. Of course, the struggle at this point will be to determine, do we really know if we've got it to the point where it's cooked inside?
I'm going to go with the hush puppy method. So if it's a medium to a darker brown around the edges and it's at least like a almond brown in the center, you should be okay. Getting there.
Okay.
Did we flip them?
I have flipped them already.
Okay. Oh yeah, those look done. Hopefully they're not overdone, but those are a good color, at least. And through the magic of editing, we're now at the table. So we've got our nice crispy fried. We did have to modify the frying a little bit.
We pulled, because ours are smaller, we pulled the temp down to about 350, and then we cooked them for about 5 minutes.
So
we also like ours a little crispier.
Yeah, it depends on how you like the inside of it. Some people like a little soft cooked, which is why some recipes you'll see that they're like that thick. So it'll get crispy like this on the outside, but it'll still be soft in the center. I like mine a little more well done, so...
I have a picture of that one. We'll throw up the picture.
We'll throw that up. I like mine a little thinner and a little crispier, so we brought the temperature down a little bit and cooked it a little longer so it would cook all the way through without just absolutely carbonizing.
So my test is going to be, do I like it better with tahini sauce or do I like it better with tzatziki sauce?
Yeah, so we have
our pita from George at Little Grease.
Yep. We've got our spoon salad we made from Rafika's recipe.
We've got tzatziki from George at Little Grease as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chef George. You're amazing.
We've got our tahini recipe, which is what you're technically supposed to have with it. And we have some spinach and arugula to go with the, I'm guessing, sandwiches that we're supposed to make?
I guess. And then we have some feta, because Chuck wanted feta.
Because feta.
All right, so my first test. Have you done this test already?
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to do it on camera. Duh.
Well,
with tzatziki sauce. George, that tzatziki sauce. You are my favorite, George. Don't tell Chuck.
Tzatziki sauce is that cucumber sauce. It's kind of light and it's got that cucumbery bite to it. Somehow it makes it actually taste more fried. The tahini actually melds in with it more.
Well, tahini is a lighter sauce. This is more of a dip.
That's more of a dip. This is more of a sauce.
That is an actual sauce or dressing.
But I mean, flavor-wise, it just kind of merges and becomes one flavor.
Honestly, y'all, I don't know which I like better. Do your own taste test. I do, however, want to try some of the salad.
I'm going to find out if this is the kind of pita you can make a pita pocket out of, or if it's too dense.
Do not know.
After it's been frozen and recooked, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to say no.
Oh. Y'all, I could eat the spoon salad just as is.
I'm going to eat my spoon salad with a fork.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. It's so fresh, it's delicious. Yeah, Rafika, thank you. This one's getting added to the list this summer.
Maybe a little less.
Less salt.
Actually, no, the salt's fine. A little less red pepper.
Shut your mouth.
The red pepper in it was rather strong in my bite.
Get another bite. To me, it's the salt. But either way, I love it.
Maybe that was just a strong bite I got.
Okay. Do I need to get a knife so we can just split her? Or are you going to actually make a sandwich?
I'm just going to tear it. Make little sandwiches. So I'm going to start with a little greenage. Little traction. A little bit of that on it.
The Mediterraneans are all looking at this going, what are they doing?
Oh, you're probably offensive as hell to...
Sorry, guys.
A little bit of feta, because feta. I think I'm going to go with the tahini.
I'm not a vegetarian, but if I had to be a vegetarian, I would want to be that on the Mediterranean diet. Because this is delicious.
And you've never had falafel before. Didn't you say?
Yeah, I have.
Well,
I had falafel at that Greek restaurant in DC.
yeah, but you said you'd never had falafel before I took you to go get it.
Well, I'd never
Of
had.
course, then we got some good falafel and we got some bad falafel, and
Let's be honest, I haven't had Korean before you took me for it, or Indian, Irish food. I had Chinese before you and Mexican. But you just made me more multicultural, I guess. I'd never had Turkish food before. And this pairs really well with George's pita. Then again, George's pita is just fabulous.
But so from two meat-eating country rednecks, if you got to have something vegetarian, this is good stuff. This will work.
I mean, we're having a vegetarian meal, sort of, aren't we?
I'm not sure if the feta counts.
Okay.
I never understood the rules of vegetarianism anyway. Although it turns out making it yourself is a lot of work. We've been working at this all afternoon.
Well, more than likely you would make the tahini ahead of time and probably the
I
salad.
mean, granted, if you eat a lot of Mediterranean food, you probably have some of this stuff prepped. But
Same as Korean food, it's a lot of work.
yeah, if you're making it one-off, it's a lot of work.
Food in general is a lot of work. Ask your mother.
Yeah. So while we sit here and critique ourselves on things we could change to slightly make this a little more to our tastes, this may not be 100% authentic, but damn, it's good. So, like, subscribe, do the internet things.
Make your own food.
Yeah, go cook something. Chickpea Hushpuppy it may be, but I like hush puppies.
I like hush puppies.
Everybody likes hush puppies. Therefore, everybody should like falafel. That's how it works in my mind. And the world is a figment of my own imagination, so deal with it.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.